So we're about 1 week into the event already. Some of you guys have pulled in the gacha banner already, and I've seen a few comments saying this, so might as well just answer it right now. If you guys have duplicates of this ship, is it worth leveling a second one? I made this video initially back when Musashi came out because I truly do believe that if you had two Musashis, you can definitely make your campaign life much easier. But it comes with a downside. The downside is that you're putting in, if you're a new player or like a new to medium game or mid game player, you're putting in a lot of resources when you want to level up another UR ship that isn't a new one. Bullens, mats, hog ships, you're putting in a lot of resources that you could use on other ships that could be much more beneficial to have in like other content like Operation Siren, where you could get more value out of them. So back then, I truly did believe if you had two Musashis, you can definitely make your campaign life much easier, and I think some people did that. So I'm going to ahead and make another video talking about Yorktown this time around, and is it worth getting two of these? Now, truthfully speaking, as of right now, where she currently stands, I am pretty confident one is good enough. You don't have to go for a second one. One is good enough. But if you guys want to have a second one, go for it. But I'll explain why first one is perfectly fine as of right now. So her kit as of right now is pretty much meant to deal with light armor, right? She offers a lot of utility. She's basically like an Eagle Union Shinano, but not Eagle Unions to Shinanos. But the best way to compare her is that she's basically Shinano, right? Now, personally, if I were to have a second Shinano, I wouldn't use a second Shinano because if you think about it, the only value you can use a second ship that's a duplicate is in another fleet, and that's for pretty much campaign or like event farming. Where it stands at right now, event farming, you do not need a second ship of that caliber, especially one that's going to be super invested because events mainly about leveling up ships or running very, very cheap ships to do more efficient farming. That's basically how you do events. As for campaign, maybe World 14 and maybe 15 in the future, maybe even Chapter 13 hard. You could probably use a secondary ship. I would definitely say right now Yorktown 2 would probably be really good to have in Chapter 13 hard. But there's so much ways to deal with anti-air nowadays that I feel like it's not that big of a concern, even though Chapter 13 art may be pretty difficult when it comes out. Not sure when it comes out, but it may be pretty difficult when it comes out. So the Musashi video, World 14 is definitely one world that's going to give a lot of people troubles, especially when we get to 14.3 and 14.4. That's where the real World 14 starts, and that's where a lot of people stops playing because of that gap. So Musashi's good there because she's a durable flagship. She has decent wave clear. She can proc her cross barrage twice. She can hold aggro, tank very well. She's a very good ship overall to having campaign for both fleets. Whereas Yorktown, you pretty much want to run Eagle Union ships, and she's very restrictive for that. Musashi's more universal, but Yorktown is more restrictive. So if you think about it, a lot of the Chapter 14 ships, now you can do like 3 Eagle Union ships per fleet in World 14, but you're taking away from a lot of other fleet comps that you could basically work with. And not to mention, if you're like a new to mid game player, you're not done World 14 yet, you're probably really restrictive on your USS pool. So you can't really like maximize using proper ships in those two fleets. Like for example, let's say you start this year, you have 2 Yorktowns. You're not gonna have like the best Eagle UNDDs and healers available to toss into those fleets, so you won't get that much value from using just Yorktown versus like using like a Perseus, Unicorn, Musashi, any 2 DDs like Janice, Jervis, Wakasuki, Suzuki. You can use Bristol in them, but I think they were like last year or something. But that's what I'm talking about, or Ingram. But that's what I'm talking about when I say that having a second Yorktown isn't that amazing to have because she's very restrictive in the fleet that she wants to play. Having one Eagle Union fleet is fine, but having two of them where you want to have like 3 ships minimum gets really restrictive, especially when you do campaign stuff like World 14, where you want to have a more diverse pool to work with to deal with some of the problems that you're going with in the campaign mode. Like if it's DDs, you need more. If it's submarine stuff, you need DDs. If it's healers, you need like Perseus, Unicorn, and those ships for the most part aren't Eagle Union. So you gotta be very flexible with how you want to play World 14 because it's not a world where running a full mono is advisable. Now you probably can do it, but it's not like super advisable, especially if you're like a new to mid game player that's getting to World 14 eventually. So I say no. As of right now, I do not think a second Yorktown is worth investing into. Now, I do say this, but you could probably hold on to it. For me, usually, if I have like a duplicate UR ship, I just hold on to them for whatever reason. I personally never level my duplicate UR ships, but if you want to like have them around, go for it. I just keep them there. Otherwise, though, I don't think it's truly that worth investing into a second Yorktown as of right now, unless you just really like that ship and you want to use them pretty much every fleet and campaign and events, and that's pretty much it. So I believe that answers it. Overall, I do think Yorktown 2 is a good ship. I just don't think she's good enough to be in 2 fleets, whereas other ships like Musashi is really, really good to have in 2 fleets because she's a durable flagship that can work in both mob and boss setups. So 1 is perfectly fine, guys. And yeah, just save your other resources for other things in the game. Especially when it comes to UR bullets that a lot of you guys are restrictive on because new players and stuff like that, right? So that's the end of that video, guys. Hopefully that answers some concerns about second Musashi or second Yorktown 2s. If you want to have one, though, I always hold at least one. You never know. That's fine. But I wouldn't invest into like a second UR ship. I personally don't have any duplicate invested second UR ship, so I don't recommend it. So I don't want you guys to do that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that video. Thank you guys for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next video. Almost 25K sub, guys. If you guys can sub to me, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I'm out of here.